We know that as of today, approximately the 70% of the world steel production is made by traditional integrated plants. So the iron ore is reduced by coal, and this is resulted in a considerable amount of CO2 and other pollutants that are emitted. And thanks to the introduction of the electric arc furnaces, emissions have been drastically reduced. And indeed, nowadays, they still ranks amongst the most recycled material on the planet. Anyhow, the quality of the steel may be limited by the residuals that we can find in the scrap. So the way to overcome this potential limitation is to dilute or to replace the scrap with the DRI, which provides virgin iron units directly to the electric arc furnace. So Danieli offers the most, let me say, efficient technologies in this sense. So thanks to, for example, the combination of the energetic reduction plant plus the Q1 Digimelter, even the highest quality of steel can be produced in a flexible and competitive way, and reducing in this way the environmental impact.
The requirement of DRI is going to increase as more and more companies has a plans to shut down this blast furnace and BOF routes and moving towards the DRI and EAF routes. The DRI producers on the downstream are also planning for a lot of pelletizing plants which are going to happen. And with the scarcity happening for scrap, DRI product has a very bright future, as I can see. And these prices in Q4 also are going on a positive side.
Charging the DRI when it is hot, just to give you some number, is saving as electrode saving up to 0.6 kilo per ton of liquid steel. Just charging the DRI already hot, having approximately 20% of productivity increase by hot charging. This is saving $10 a ton of tapping weight, which is of course linked to the energy saving to have it hot and to have it melted. So the tendency that I see is exactly going to the DRI and to hot DRI. Then closing with your last question, for sure, the investment that you see in Europe, and I would say not only Europe, also linked to what Ashton and Kumar said, all over we are seeing an increase in the demand and investment for hot DRI is for sure linked also to the energy saving. We know that the environment is driving everything, as Ashton explained it very well in his presentation, but don't forget that you are having also a saving in the electricity, and because of the price is increasing, it's all linked.
So absolutely, coal is more of an emitter than natural gas-based processes. Even gasifying coal is going to be less efficient use of that energy on a CO2 basis per ton than a natural gas-based process such as the DRI. Most of the DRI processes, I understand that there are a few that gasify coal instead of using natural gas to produce a syngas. I think the beauty of the DRI process is the flexibility you have on the environmental side, because obviously the scrap is going to be your least emissive component, but not everyone is set up to do 100% DRI or not. You know, they're going to have a mix of scrap, DRI, pig iron, other materials. So to the degree that the DRI replaces pig iron or other processes that use a traditional blast furnace process, when a company goes to look at if that's an internal supply at scope 1 emissions, or if it's an external supply chain at scope 3 emissions, you can realize huge reductions in that CO2 footprint by looking at DRI. And the DRI process some of the things that Ashton mentioned that are really unique to it is the CO2. You get a pure CO2 stream coming off of the process. I think all vendors are looking at that at this point in time, and you can do a number of the things with it, such as Ashton suggested on the food and beverage side, on the industrial side for dry ice. But you can also put it in the ground. You can store it, and that's really where you get to look at is your.
I think that in order to produce high grades of steels, however, it's not possible to think to use only scrap, because scrap has residuals, and in order to dilute these residuals, you will need the DRI. So the DRI is needed in order to produce high grade steels, for example, for the automotive sector. Regarding the hydrogen and the natural gas, well, as you can see from the graph that I show in my presentation, if we are using natural gas, it's inevitable to have CO2 emissions, because the natural gas has carbon inside. So when you are using natural gas, you are emitting. So the only way to really tackle the emissions is to use hydrogen. Of course, we will need carbon in all the process change of the production of steel, because carbon is intrinsically needed for produce steel. So the only thing is to add it directly in the DRI, bonded in the DRI, or add it in the electrical furnace. From my personal opinion, and for what we are proposing to all of our customers that are thinking to a transition to a full hydrogen in the future, is to use just a small amount of hydrogen that gives that small amount of carbon bonded in the DRI. And this is mainly due to the fact that the carbon that is bonded in the DRI is available at 100% in the electrical furnace.